A man by the name of Martin Luther King was able to have some successes in the March for Civil Rights. And with his nonviolence approach, he was able to garner more sympathy and a more accepting American public, as he believed in the power of boycotts, he believed in the power of protest, but he did not believe in violence. And he certainly did not take the more militant and more separationist approach of Malcolm X, where Malcolm X did not want to really integrate. He really just wanted to be left alone, but also be treated equally among his Anglo counterparts. But Martin Luther King did believe in a more integrated society, and he did believe in a nonviolent approach, and he was able to find success with the Montgomery bus boycott. However, he did face fierce resistance as he was arrested with his protests, and he had actually wrote a very powerful letter. He wrote it from a Birmingham jail, and he sent it to fellow pastors because he was getting sick and tired of them telling him to wait, to be patient, to just, constantly just like, hey, just maybe a few more months. He got sick of it, and he got tired of being arrested for these unjust laws, for like unjust laws of segregation, these unjust laws of, of Jim Crow that he wanted to fight against. And also he wanted to fight against these restrictions on voting. And he kept doing these approaches, and it all culminated to this very famous speech that he had in August of 1963, his famous I Have a Dream speech, where he was there talking about jobs and freedom, where he was getting tired of the oppression. He's getting tired that his people were having to suffer through these layers of racism in the South, and as well trying to make sure that he gets voting rights and make sure that people are getting treated equally. And that was his most famous speech, and that was not only watched by millions of people, but 250,000 people were there at the Washington Monument to witness his speech. And Martin Luther King kept pressing for these civil rights, and he just kept at it. And he was able to get President John F. Kennedy to meet with him after the famous speech. And John F. Kennedy did commit to a Civil Rights Act to get passed so we can get African Americans free from these obstacles of trying to get them to get jobs, because discrimination for jobs was just paramount. As soon as these employers saw that they were looking at a potential black employee, they just simply didn't want them. And John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King were able to work that out. However, that act was not officially signed until Lyndon B. Johnson was in office, because JFK was assassinated. Lyndon Baines Johnson did take over the mantle for the civil rights fight and did get that passed from Martin Luther King. And we'll talk more about another key moment in a little bit.